Alexander the Great, Tiberius Claudius, Artaxerxes III, Pharaoh Akhenaten, Queen Jeanne d'Albret of Navarre, Emperor Qin Shi Huang of China, and Prince Rostislav Vladimirovich of Tmutarakan. This is far from a complete list of historical figures who, according to scholars, were all poisoned. Centuries ago, poison was considered the most reliable way to eliminate a rival and seize power, especially when it needed to be done discreetly and without bloodshed. In ancient times, poisoners had an arsenal of deadly ingredients at their disposal, primarily plant extracts and snake venom. Later, chemical substances were also used. During the Middle Ages, reigning monarchs were the primary targets of assassination attempts, as there were always competitors for power and numerous methods to eliminate them. For example, arsenic was a very popular poison because it killed not instantly, but gradually, through cumulative effects. It's no surprise that during this era of court intrigue, every monarch feared for their life. To outsmart their enemies, crowned heads devised a strategy. They employed special tasters at their courts. These individuals were tasked with consuming drinks or food before the monarch. Depending on the presence of poison or other substances, they would either die or survive. However, this method had its flaws, as it couldn't detect the cumulative effects of arsenic and was only effective if the dosage was high. Since court tasters weren't always reliable, European monarchs sought a more dependable means of protection. In the 11th century, a solution emerged from the Middle East. Arab physicians had been using a particular stone called a bezoar as an antidote for over 3 centuries. It was believed to neutralize any poison. A bezoar is a mass composed of magnesium and calcium phosphates that forms around a small stone, leaf, or twig that enters the stomach. Essentially, it occurs due to digestive insufficiency, where undigested material remains in the stomach and gradually hardens into a stone-like form. The term bezoar itself translates from Arabic as foreign body in the stomach. Later, the term was also applied to a breed of Central Asian wild goats, whose digestive tracts contained these healing stones. Among European nobility, this Eastern novelty quickly gained immense popularity. Rumors even circulated that a Moorish ruler exchanged a bezoar for a palace in Cordoba. While this is likely a myth, it's true that this exotic item was valued in the Old World more than gold and diamonds. The most prized were olive-colored bezoars, the rarest of all. Brown or gray stones were more common. Bezoars were considered not just effective antidotes, but almost panaceas, used to treat measles, cholera, and leprosy. Owners of bezoars always carried them as amulets. The magical stone was dipped into a cup of drink if its safety was uncertain, as it was believed to absorb poison. It was also used to prepare infusions or ground into powders that were added to food. In keeping with the fashion of the time, bezoars were beautifully incorporated into various jewelry pieces, such as rings, mesh containers, and small cases. Notably, Queen Elizabeth I, King Eric XIV of Sweden, and Tsarevich Fyodor all owned such items. Patriarch Nikon had a bezoar embedded in his staff. By the 16th century, nearly every wealthy European considered owning a medicinal bezoar a necessity. However, there weren't enough of these healing stones to go around. After all, they couldn't form in animal stomachs by the kilogram. This led to a flood of counterfeit bezoars on the market. The most famous of these were the so-called guar stones, which Indians passed off as bezoars by mixing clay, amber, crushed shells, and bits of precious minerals. These, of course, had no medicinal properties. Even the efficacy of genuine bezoars was often questioned during that time. For instance, the renowned French surgeon Ambroise Paré conducted an experiment. He gave a condemned man poison along with a bezoar. Unfortunately, the experiment failed and the man suffered from the poison for 7 hours before dying. Nevertheless, this experiment involving a condemned cook did not sway public opinion. People continued to believe in the healing properties of the stone, as there was simply no alternative antidote. Interestingly, Napoleon Bonaparte was also a bezoar owner. In 1708, it was presented to him as a gift by the Persian ruler Fath Ali Shah, who sought military support from the French emperor. Napoleon was skeptical of the stone's magical properties. He genuinely did not believe in its powers and tasked his chemist Claude Louis Berthollet with examining it. Berthollet concluded that the stone was of plant origin, which enraged Napoleon so much that he threw the stones into the fireplace. Coincidentally, for a long time, poison was believed to be the cause of Napoleon's death on the island of St. Helena. In 1961, scientists from the University of Glasgow analyzed surviving strands of Napoleon's hair and discovered high concentrations of arsenic. Experts were convinced that the former French emperor had been poisoned. However, in 2008, Italian researchers debunked this theory. Specialists from the University of Milan Bicocca and the National Institute of Nuclear Physics analyzed Napoleon's hair samples from different periods of his life, placing them in a small nuclear reactor for study. The analysis revealed that the hair of the young French emperor contained the same amount of arsenic as it did before his death. This meant there was no poisoning. Furthermore, the hair of Napoleon's contemporaries showed similar concentrations of the toxin. Whether Bezoars actually helped in cases of arsenic poisoning remains uncertain, as there is no scientific evidence to support this claim. Modern medical professionals are more concerned about the harm these stones can cause to the human body. These solid foreign bodies form not only in the stomachs of animals, but also in humans. There are documented medical cases where bezoars weighing up to 1 kilogram and measuring 30 centimeters in size have been removed from the stomach. However, such cases are rare. If a bezoar is small, it can be removed surgically using minimally invasive methods. For larger ones, doctors often prefer to partially dissolve them first to make extraction easier. Doctors even know which food can lead to the formation of bezoars in humans: persimmons. They contain many resinous substances. Consuming large quantities of these bright orange fruits daily can indeed lead to stomach discomfort. However, according to some scientists, an effective remedy against bezoars can be found on store shelves. An unusual treatment for bezoars involves dissolving them with sweet soda. Experiments were conducted where sweet soda was directly applied to the stone using a probe to reach its location. However, this method proved ineffective, so it was later suggested that simply drinking the soda would suffice. The sugary drink softened and reduced the size of the stones, which were then extracted from the stomach using special forceps. However, to achieve the desired effect, study volunteers had to consume significant amounts of soda, half a liter to a full liter daily before meals for 3 weeks. While the drink did help, doctors caution that this is an extreme measure. Consuming large quantities of soda can lead to obesity, diabetes, and pancreatic issues. Additionally, due to its high phosphoric acid content, there's a risk of developing new stones not in the stomach, but in the kidneys.